So, about a week ago, we had ourselves a conversation that popped up around the Vancouver Canucks and Philadelphia Flyers defensemen. We had a bunch of them on the channel, and in fact, we did make a video about this, so you can go ahead and watch this one if you wanted to see the scoop. But essentially, we had word from David Pagnotta of the fourth period saying that the Canucks had conversed with the Flyers about 3 defensemen on Philly: Sean Walker, Nick Seeler, and the target of today's video, Rasmus Ristolainen. Now, this conversation was met with a lot of controversy from Vancouver Canucks fans. Okay, Seeler, Walker, you want to get some shot-blocking guys? Fine. But Rasmus Ristolainen? That's not the immediate profile that would stand out as a Vancouver Canucks target, since he's 29 years old, 6'4", 220, right-handed guy, signed till the end of 2027, making $5.1 million a year. That is an expensive guy. Now, if he was getting 40 points a year like he was during his Buffalo days, then okay, you could maybe justify that dollar cap hit. But Rasmus Ristolainen this year has 4 points in 31 games played, on pace for about 8 in 58, and that is not good. Very not good for a guy making that amount of money, and because of the dollar amount, we did hear rumors saying that the Flyers would be interested, or they'd be willing to retain salary on Ristolainen, and if you do 5.1 Divi 2, that is $2.55 million a year, so is this guy really worth that kind of money? Furthermore, to the conversations that we had, you also had Frank Saravalli last week step on to Sekeres and Price and talk about the interest in Ristolainen, and you also had other analysts going out there and saying, wait a minute, what's going on here, like Daniel Wagner from last week too. Ristolainen is playing third-line minutes for Philadelphia, largely sheltered from tough competition, and has $5.1 million on his cap hit through 2027. It doesn't make sense for the Canucks. Besides, the Flyers are in a playoff race. Who's to say they'll be sellers at the trade deadline? And then the reply says Briere and company have said pretty much that they're selling, and Daniel Wagner was like, yeah, fair enough. Ristolainen still makes 0 sense for Vancouver, though. And hey, Canucks fans, ask and you shall receive. We had ourselves some new updates in regards to Ristolainen the other day that pretty much go out there and dispute everything that we had heard. 3 days ago, we had this tweet made by Anthony DeMarco. This is post-Ristolainen injury. He got injured earlier this week, and the update comes here. As the trade deadline is drawing closer, it's important to reiterate that Sean Walker is not a slam dunk to be moved. Philadelphia will only move a right-handed defenseman if their asking price is met, a first-round pick or a package similar in value, like a second plus a prospect. All things are on the table, especially with their recent injury to Rasmus Ristolainen. Now, I know a lot of Canucks fans' alarm bells might have been ringing after they saw that tweet. Wait a minute, their ask is a first-round pick or a second and a prospect? If Ristolainen is on the move and the Canucks are involved here, what are they trading away, a first-round pick for Ristolainen? They got away with trading away a third and a fifth for Zadorov. You don't really think they're going to trade that much for Ristolainen of all people, right? And then, we had ourselves another update, which goes out there and spells good things for Vancouver fans. Anthony DeMarco then tweeted out this, that the full story is coming out later, but multiple sources are confirming that Rasmus Ristolainen's injury is significant, and that he'll be out a minimum of 1 month. A move ahead of the trade deadline seems unlikely at this point. And you can debate that because Ristolainen's injury is going to be this long, it makes it harder to move some of the other defensemen that exist on the Philadelphia blue line. Oh, because you have extra time away from Risto, you have to get extra guys to fill in those spots, and so whether or not a Walker trade actually does come to fruition, we'll end up seeing if that happens. But with Rasmus Ristolainen being potentially not trade bait anymore, that's a positive sign for Canucks fans, and the ultimate dagger was given out the other morning as well when you had yourselves the collaboration show between the Donnie and Dolly folks as well as Canucks Talk on Sportsnet 650. Now, I can't find the exact snippet of audio wherein Rick Dhaliwal says this, but this tweet pretty much sums it up, that Dhaliwal went out there and confirmed, essentially, that the Canucks did not have any interest in going after Ristolainen. And that is very, very relieving for a lot of Canucks fans who were kind of thinking that this wasn't really all too much of a fit. And it really gets you wondering, okay, well, where exactly were the sources from the other comments coming from then, because Saravelli did talk about this, David Pagnotta talked about this, you had Anthony DeMarco talk about this. DeMarco is a Philadelphia beat reporter, Pagnotta and Saravelli do stuff on the rest of the league, but if the Vancouver insiders are saying, yeah, no, they don't really want to go after him, then okay, that's good. I won't discredit, though, the idea that Vancouver might have just been calling around. And this also was an argument brought up by a lot of other fans saying, hey, like, it would be kind of irresponsible for Patrick Allvin and Rutherford to not check in on some of the other conversations that are going around the NHL. Hey, if there's a defenseman that's on the market, what would it cost to get him? We're not necessarily interested, we just want to gauge the price kind of stuff. Especially since the Philadelphia Flyers have 3 guys that you could very well say could be on the move in Sealer, Walker, and Ristolainen. It's just very strange to me that for Rasmus Ristolainen, it was the 2 biggest teams that were linked the most compared to everybody else. It was, hey, Vancouver and Toronto are going after Ristolainen, or they're interested in making this trade happen, or whatever, right? So for Vancouver, we kind of have our answer here. For Toronto, you could definitely say there's more to this because their situation on defense is a lot more dire now, especially since Morgan Rielly is out. I mean, look, the Maple Leafs have been winning a few games here and there, but still, having a first pairing of, what is it, TJ Brodie and Timothy Liljegren? Yeah, I don't really think that's going to cut it too much, but either way, if Ristolainen is not going to be able to get traded anytime soon because of the injury, maybe the Leafs refer to a Sean Walker or something, or I don't know, talk about somebody else. Nick Sealer is still the guy that I absolutely adore because that guy blocks so many gosh darn shots, and I get it that shot blocks are not like the most indicative stat of talent, but there is a very distinct profile here that exists with this kind of a player. So if the Maple Leafs are going after him, then okay, maybe that's the fit. Maybe it is another one of these defensively minded guys and not a puck-moving defenseman, because you're totally missing out on one of those with Morgan Rielly being suspended, right? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're a Vancouver Canucks fan and or a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, what are your opinions on the idea of Rasmus Ristolainen's availability drying up? It doesn't seem like he's going to get traded now, mostly because of that injury. Is this the best news you could have gotten? Did you not want to spend $5.1 million a year or $2.5 something million with 50% salary retained on a guy like Ristolainen going on till 26-27. I said it in the video last time, I'll say it again, but Ristolainen seemed like the odd man out. If it were up to me, I'd go after Sealer, but yeah, Walker's not bad either. He produces a lot of points compared to the 2, so there is a different set of skills comparative to each of these 3 guys, but for Ristolainen in particular, this is a very good update. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Canucks fans, Leafs fans, Philadelphia Flyers fans as well. What do you think about the entire idea that a player like Ristolainen or something would go for a first-round pick or a second and a prospect or something like that? Is he worth that? He has so few points and he's playing on the 3rd pairing. If he was healthy, would you go for that kind of a trade package? Would you think that's actually possible? Or do you just kind of take whatever you can for this guy? You're already committed to selling off some assets despite your recent success this year, so what gives here? Philadelphia Flyers fans, let me know the scoop on what's going on. Leafs fans, Canucks fans, what are your thoughts as well? Leave it in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed this. And bye.